And welcome back to another version of Porsche Women Global Talking Live. So I've got a special guest. Oh, Anna's already on. Hi, Anna. Let's see if I can add in another person. Let me look for Tatiana. I think I'm going to give her a minute to go ahead and log in. There's Tati. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you don't know, we had, hi, Mark Medina, Tati. I'm waving at you. Let's see if I can. Oh, you're on already. All right. Okay.
I'm here.
Hello. We already have friends on. Anna's already on. Mark's already on.
Yay.
Giselle, Porsche 911 Turbos. We got some friends. Martina's on. Yay. Hi, everybody.
Martina.
So Tatiana is new to Instagram Live being in a shared video, and she did beautifully already. That was flawless.
Tell me what to do and I figure it out.
Exactly, on the fly. That's how we roll. So I have to point out my shirt, especially for you and Mark, because it says "This is my therapy," and although it's backwards,
fabulous. So, while we're doing shirts, mine is
amateur.
You can see.
Oh yeah. Yes, your new shirt. I love it.
my newer Porsche. There.
I love it. Okay, and tell the audience, because I asked you about it the other day. So tell the audience about your newer.
So newer, I feel like I'm putting my,
I know
my camera.
Totally normal.
So this is the name of my GT4. So I am pretty much Growler racing. Growler is my American muscle that drag races. And newer is the GT4 because it's Growler, or the person who roars, in German. And I figured it was fitting for the Porsche to have that name.
Love it.
And I have to state that this is by Gary Skechner, which is Abstract RPM. His creation, his execution, everything.
I know. He does them in. I've seen so many different schematics that he's done, and he's really been on point with, I think, everyone that I've ever seen. So
yeah, he's done a few, and they're great. They have character, and he takes it to the character of that person, which is great.
That is awesome. So welcome to the chat. You have been in our PWG, our Porsche Women Global group for, gosh, I don't even, how long have I known you? Hasn't been a year, right?
It's been a few months. Mark, you want one? Just, text me. I'll send you the link.
Mark is so good sharing the love with shirts. He's so great. He's got a whole collection now. Yes. Oh, Amanda Dress is on too. Fun people.
Joe's Moore Park Cars and Coffee, which is also by Gary.
Yes.
So we've known each other, I want to say end of November, early December is when we connected.
Only been that long? It's so good. I feel like I've known you for years. It's so funny. And maybe it's because I see you every weekend.
If we're on every weekend, running, radioing,
yes,
eating and drinking, it's bound to happen. Yeah, it's all good.
So just for the people that don't know, if you're in Southern California, well, if you're not, first of all, I feel bad that you can't enjoy our amazing weather, because I always joke about this. I think when I go on lives that people say they're fleeing California, and I'm like, I don't know why, because it's great here.
People are fleeing California for reasons that, to me, aren't as important as it is to stay here and be here.
But it is, I mean, it costs a lot to be here. So it's not like it's an inexpensive alternative. I will give it that, Anyways, but so what we do in California, we have created a community. I mean, there's already, obviously, lots of different Porsche communities. I sit on the PCLA board. Tatiana is a member there. There's tons of little Porsche clubs all over the place. And so we happen to have one we have our Porsche Women group, our Porsche Women Global group, the Southern California edition. Then we also have a Porsche People group, which is the co-ed version. So sometimes Tatiana hangs out with us in our women's only events, which you've seen on this channel, which we just had our high tea. We've had a horses event and some other things. And then with our Porsche boys, when we go out with them, we drive literally almost every single Saturday and Sunday. Not everybody joins all the time, but so if you're going to be coming down to the LA area, you definitely need to connect with us and at least just drive with us once if you don't live here, and if you're in SoCal, drive with us all the time because it's fun. Oh, even Bill Baker's on. Hi, Bill.
Hi, Carrie. Oh, Carrie's on and Mark is on.
I know everybody's on. This is a great one. This is a good hour. It's funny because I usually do the lunch hour, because that's what the internet says is the best time. But I'm like, I'm seeing a lot of people.
I think it's pre-Friday.
Pre-Friday. Well, do you remember when you were younger? It was Thursday night was the night to go out. So
yes.
I think people are tuning out by Thursday night. It's possible.
That's my point. It's pre-Friday and we're all ready to go.
Yeah.
Oh, Kelly Doak joined. So we've got some car people on here. We've got some
GT Black Widow.
Yep.
Okay, so the reason I wanted to have Tatiana on is because not only is she a fabulous Porsche girl, and not only do I get to hang with her all the time, and I'm spoiled because she's a lot of fun to be around, she also has a very unique skill set, in case you don't know. And so, and it's funny because she said to me once, why do you always introduce me as the drag girl? And I'm like, because it's so cool. She's like, oh, okay. Because everybody can be a Porsche girl, but not everybody drag races. I mean, we're talking probably, I don't know. I've never been to the drag strip with you, but maybe 1% is female. Is that a good estimate?
If that.
If that. There we go. 0.5%.
Yes. Yes.
So I always like to have some kind of, defining characteristic, if you want to call it, when I'm introducing somebody. So, like, if I was going to introduce Mark Medina, he'd be my poober.
Yes, he'd be your poober. You need to explain what poober is.
Poober is my Porsche Uber, because when we drive on the weekends, first of all, my engine took a dump in the canyon, and it's still under repair. And all my other ones, I have a whole fleet under repair, which my clients always come first, which is my big joke. So, not that I have Porsches here I could drive, but sometimes it's fun to be the passenger. Tatiana doesn't like it, and that's okay.
No. Hi, Steve. GT3 Black Widow is Steve, and he's all, you girls rock.
I saw him
this is
roll up.
Chris. So we've got some of my drag people on here. Chris just
Yay!
joined. Yeah.
Good.
So we were saying poober.
Yeah, so the Porsche Uber, so you get a couple advantages by not being the driver, is that you can call on the phone, you can research things, you can make appointments and like restaurants. And whenever I'm in a drive group, I don't have to be the lead. I'll typically assign someone else to be the lead, give them the Google map. And then I like to be the sweeper to make sure everybody is swept along and it's all safe and everybody is together and we go through the lights because we all have walkie-talkies and things. But the best pictures are in the back, people. As much as you think the front is the best, I mean, you do get the full canyon view. Best pictures in the back. And then when you're going down the windy roads, you get to see all the cars lined up, like best angle. Anyway, is that a Porsche Santa Clarita cup?
It is. It's a cup from Joe's. It's a cup of Joe from Joe.
Give it a shout out. Oh, sweeper. Bill again is a sweeper. So
sweepers are the best. Oh, hey, Erica.
So and the
sweepers are the best for the view in the back. I totally agree. My dash cam captures beautiful colors ahead of me if I'm somewhere in the back.
Well, you get to see the scenery, because when you're a driver, you're so focused on the road, which is amazing. Like there's times when that's where I want to be, but you're everything's whizzing by you, and you don't really get to look over the canyon and be like, oh my God, there's a gorgeous valley down there. So anyway, okay, so enough about the world. Like, let's talk about Tatiana.
Okay.
So you're originally, as I put in your bio, you're from Beirut, Lebanon, and you came here in your teens, I think it was.
I'm from Beirut, but because of the war in the 70s, my parents left Lebanon, went to Belgium for a few years, and then went to Greece for a few years, and then back to Lebanon. So I was a little bit all over the place and never felt like I belonged. In Lebanon, we were the Italians because Dad's Italian. In Belgium, we were the Lebanese family. In Greece, we were the Lebanese family. Go figure. And we went back to Lebanon and we're these foreign Europeans. Hey, Martina. Yes, Lebanon. So I always felt the most at home in Beirut. It's the culture I grew up with the most as a teenager and then as a baby. So coming to LA at age 18 and with my entire family, thank God, was a culture shock.
But it's also mildly hot. I mean, I don't know if that worked for you.
It did. It just took a few years.
Right. To acclimate, of course.
Yeah. It took a few years to acclimate. Being the oldest of four and having three brothers, I had thick enough skin that I could manage. It was, and it was, I think, the best things my parents ever did for us.
That's nice. That's nice. Well, that's
Yeah.
good. And we're happy.
I'm very grateful we ended up in LA. I love LA. I love
And that was only a
SoCal.
couple of years ago.
It was like, yeah, 3 years ago at a zero.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so when did the fascination for cars begin for you?
The fascination began as a teenager in Lebanon, watching the Rallye du Liban, which is in the canyons of Lebanon. We have canyons in Lebanon that rival our Malibu canyons and our Tahangas. So there would be rallies in Lebanon, and we're talking, you know, different cars. There would be BMWs and Subarus and Renaults. There were different cars because you need cars that take turns really fast and don't fall into the canyon. And that was a fascination that my brothers, my dad, my cousins, most male cousins had. So I got into it, and I learned to drive in canyons in a stick shift Volvo. So
And you were young if you got here when you were 18. You were young driving.
Started driving when I was 14.
Okay.
I wouldn't have it. The minute I was ready to go, I'm like, Dad, Dad took me driving, and he taught me to drive with my three brothers in the back seat.
Wow. That's a lot of faith.
Yeah. And he was good. I didn't crash. Well, maybe a couple times, but
We won't talk about that.
well, we won't talk about that. It was fabulous. I loved cars more than my brothers did. I had more practical love of cars. My brothers had a more matchbox and video game love of cars. And I'm the one who wanted them and wanted to drive them and wanted to go fast and wanted to buy them. And finally, a few years ago, because, you know, life as an immigrant is not the easiest. You get used to it. You make your life, you create your own success. And then I decided after my second parent passed a few years ago, life is short. I'm going to do what I've been wanting to do pretty much all my life. And I'm going to go out and buy my muscle car. And that opened the door for me to buy the Porsche and to tell me it's okay to do that.
Okay, well, let's not rush to the Porsche. Let's hear all about this muscle car. So what made you, because I mean, so if you're growing up with canyon cars, what made you drawn to a muscle car to start with?
So we loved, it's a love of speed. And the love was for American muscle as much as, because they were, when you're in Europe, the American muscle is the exotic because you're not there. You grow up with the BMWs and the Mercedes and the Jeeps, and you grow up with, not the Jeeps, but you grow up with all these other cars that take turns or go fast or are fast on the freeway, or the autoroute, which is what we used to, you know, the equivalent of the Autobahn in Belgium was the autoroute. So we did all that, and I was drawn to the older Mustangs, the older Dodge, the Chargers from the 60s and the 70s. And to me, originally a classic is what I wanted. A 68, 69, 70, 71 classic. And that's what I fell in love with originally, but it was deciding to do something about it. That's what I was drawn to, the American muscle. Even though I'm now here and American muscle is not exotic, it still had for me, the attraction of being pure, raw horsepower and muscle. And that's what I was pursuing.
So did you buy it with drag racing in mind, or was that kind of an add-on component?
No, I did. I had a 9.3 Saab Cabriolet, a yellow, fabulous, fun sun car that I kind of wish I'd kept. I regret selling every car I've ever owned, but that's a car lover, right?
Seller's remorse.
Seller's remorse, always. And I decided I was getting a Scat Pack, a Dodge Challenger Scat Pack, which is 485 horsepower, because I thought that's a good way to learn, not, you know, with a big car, but it's a big car, but not with the big horsepower car. And I did very fast. It took me a few months to outgrow that car.
Yeah.
I took it, I bought the car, got used to it, and on the street, you have to feather it because it was a fast car. And then you get used to it and you're not feathering it anymore, and you take it to the track and you get to floor it.
Okay,
And I
explain feathering. What do you mean by
so
feathering?
when you're on the throttle with these cars that have high horsepower, you can't floor them like you do a car with less horsepower, because these big muscle cars that have re, uh, rear wheel driving, you lose the back end on them if you
Yeah.
floor it.
Oh,
And that's how accidents happen. A lot of these kids, teenagers, people in their 20s who aren't as experienced drivers, which I was there, if you're not careful, you floor a fast car, it's going to take you places you don't know how to correct.
yeah. I did
And
have a Mustang, and I did not like how it handled,
no, no, they're
especially in
not.
the rain. And I lived
Yeah,
in a camp.
Martina's agreeing. Yeah, so people who are not as experienced, it really takes skill to learn, which is why we'll talk about this in a minute, which is why I'm going to go to Martina to have her teach me my Porsche the right way. Um, but back to the muscle car, I wanted to drag race it because that's what you do in muscle car. You drag race. That was the American thing to do. And yeah, I've been American for 30 years, but I was still feeling my way about this new place. Like I finally felt I was home, and I went to the track, and I went by myself, actually with Carrie. My friend Carrie came, and I said, "Oh, we'll be there an hour or two. Let me do a run. Let me see how it feels." 7 hours later,
I kind of felt that one coming.
I got hooked. I got hooked to speed. I got hooked to doing the burnout, getting my rubbers nice and warm, getting the tires ready to go, staging, launching, and getting to that quarter mile. It was the 8th mile at Irwindale as fast as I could. And I couldn't do it fast enough. So I found a tuner to make my car faster.
So now you had never been on the drag strip before? Like you hadn't. Okay, this is your very first time. Wow.
My very first time, I just drove out. I went once to visit a couple weekends before, and I met Nicole Amsbury, who's also on IG, and I meant to invite her. I met Nicole Amsbury, who's a big Dodge girl, also drag racer, also on IG. I met her there, spoke to her and her boyfriend at the time and her dad, and it felt so nice to have the whole family. They were there. They had a track hawk, they had either a red eye or a demon. They were there racing. And I spoke to her for a few minutes, and she made me comfortable about just bring the car, just go out.
Uh-huh.
And so that was my first experience, was just talking to her on a Saturday morning. And then I just went on Thursday Night Thunder in July 2019. I just went, and I had nobody else to go with me but my girlfriend Carrie. I didn't have a racing people. I didn't have a racing family like I do now.
Right. Oh, now you have a whole crew.
I have
So you
a
want
crew
a house.
of fabulous people. Fabulous people. We'll talk about them in a minute. It's amazing to have the support, the expertise, and the willingness that some people are able and willing to do to help somebody get into racing, especially me as a woman. It felt really good.
I think mentors are a really important part of it. I mean, I'm sure you could learn a lot of things on your own, but it's like even having an athletic trainer next to you when you work out. So you can watch a YouTube 10 times over and you can replicate like probably, I don't know, 75, 85% of it. But that other little tweaks of someone else watching you outside of the attached emotions is really, again, we'll relate back to Martina, why you want a trainer.
Yes. Yes, it's amazing to have a mentor and a coach. So my tuner has become my mentor and my coach, and that's his name is Lonnie Bartley. He's with NPR Motorsports. He is NPR Motorsports. That's his shop out of Lake Elsinore. And he started helping me with the Scat Pack. And before I knew it, I knew I needed to go faster, do better, do more. So I found the red eye. And February, right before lockdown, February 10th or 11th, I got the red eye, and that a new beast was born.
And you've done a lot of customizations, I think, along the way, right? You didn't go
Yes.
straight to, because what do you're running how many horsepower now? I forget.
The red eye is running roughly 950 to the wheel, which is over 1,000 crank.
Mm-hmm.
She's a bit of a beast, and I'm not done with her yet. She is a full-on NHRA approved certified race car.
You just
And I got my
license.
NHRA license. NHRA is a National Hot Rod Association.
Mm-hmm.
So the Red Eye has now a cage. She has a 5-point harness. She has all the requirements in order to be certified to run speeds in excess of 130 on the quarter mile. And I'm getting to needing the excess of 150 on the quarter mile, which means a parachute is next because the brakes won't stop the car.
Yeah, that's kind of a thing that you want, you know, just a little crucial.
Most
So,
important thing is stop the car.
yes, I'm sure there's walls at some point if you keep going. So
There's a big net, but I don't want to end up in the sand trap or in the net. That would be damaging.
Spinning up sand into your wheels. I can't imagine that's a good thing. Yeah, no, that's it. So does the parachute just attach to the back, or is it like, how does that whole
So there's different ways to do the parachute. No, the parachute attaches to the frame of the car. So it's a lot more work because you don't want the parachute to deploy and the back of the car to go with the parachute. You actually need the parachute to grab you in the car and slow you down. So the person who did my cage is Jason at Carlin Fabrications in the desert. And the cage, my beautiful red cage, I wanted it to be red and beautiful because I wanted my girl to stay beautiful even if she's becoming a race car. He will install, so he removes the back bumper and he installs the parachute through the rear down into the frame of the car.
Ah, okay.
So that it will hold the car. And it's a removable part that I can screw into the car and potentially remove if I want to street drive her, which I do all the time.
Yeah, that was you in the red heels, by the way, with your Hellcat.
I took the race car to dinner. People didn't appreciate how loud she was, but you know.
You know, I know another girl named Jeannie who we hang out with who has a loud car, so.
We would do well, Jeannie and I, at dinner with our race cars.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it just is what it is. It's LA. You get to be what you want and who you want. So. Okay, well, I'm excited to see all of your endeavor. Oh, you were also on a TV show with your Hellcat not long ago, too. Can you talk about that yet or no?
I can talk about that briefly. Hi Tina, thanks for laughing. I was invited to be on Street Outlaws with my race team, which is Team NPR. So it is a group of racers. We all go to Lonnie Bartley and he tunes our cars, and they're all Mopars. So they're all Dodge Chargers and Challengers. And we've all made them really fast and we've built them to do what we need them to do. So 3 of us were invited to go. It was a fabulous time. I don't think I'm able to discuss any results, but I will share when the show goes live. If people know Street Outlaws, it'll be on discovery.com.
Did you have an air date yet or no? They haven't told you?
I don't have an air date. I have to text the producer for an air date. She didn't have one a few weeks ago. But we were invited to come back the week after. So we're both in the season, and I am in the series finale on the 16-car shootout, and I cannot disclose results, but it was amazing. And
but that means that you did pretty well the first time is what I'm hearing, so.
And the second time I did even better.
Yay! Upgrades.
Yes, I'm not a street racer. I became a street racer. I'm ready.
There you go.
It's legal street racing. I feel like I have to disclose. It's legal street racing.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to your Porsche, which is what has drawn you and I together, as well as some of the other lovely ladies that have been tuning in. So you've got your dream, you know, American muscle. And then?
I did. And this is where the blessing and the feeling grateful comes in. I bought my dream car, which was a Dodge Challenger Hellcat Red Eye. I built my dream car to be a race car. I took it to the Fontana Roval, and it went 145 miles an hour on the straightaway and almost took me into the wall because it's so heavy.
Right.
The centrifugal forces pull you up into the wall. So I had this dream car, took it to Fontana, and decided I need a car for the track. And of course, Porsche was always a love of mine, always. it was unattainable. But like I said before, the time for me was now. So I started looking, I knew a car broker, I started looking for it. I couldn't get my hands on a GT4 fast enough. I wanted a mid-engine car, and the mid-engines are popular. I wanted something that handles well, and I found this fabulous Neurer, we call her, my gentian blue with gold Orem wheels GT4, and I love her.
So why did you pick a GT4 versus like a Boxster or like a Spider or something else?
So my initial guidance was budget. So I started at a certain budget thinking I'll find something that's been previously owned that'll do what I needed to do, and I'd like it to be a mid-engine. The Boxster, I felt, didn't have enough oomph for me. I didn't mind the body. It was the engine and the go. And the GT3 RS and the GT2s, the GT3 and the GT3 RS, or even the GT2, felt like I was going to have to majorly change the budget in order to get that and not know what I'm getting into, because I did not know Porsche. I have to learn Porsche.
Uh-huh.
So I started looking at GT4s. Eventually I had to double the budget, and that was okay. Thank God for an understanding, loving husband. I doubled the budget and I found the GT4, the mid-engine I was looking for. I wanted a manual. I wanted to feel like I was driving the car.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that nothing shifts as fast as the dual clutch in Porsche. But I also knew that I needed to enjoy it. So I went for a manual mid-engine, and I found a car that was within double the budget and still gave me the thrill that I was seeking.
Mm-hmm. And how long ago was that? Because you've only had it for
November.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so I met you right when you got it.
Yeah.
That's why it's only been
You
that
met me.
long.
I got it, and because of my love of cars and joining the Dodge groups and getting to know people, I'm like, I have to find Porsche people. I have to find Porsche groups. And that's what happened. I started clicking through, and then we found each other.
And I'm going to guess that well, I mean, obviously they're different people, but I'm going to guess that it's a different aesthetic in each community, just as we know from.
It's different. It's a different aesthetic.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things, and yet it's all the same.
Yeah. So car conversations that stir into conversations of life, and yes.
Yep,
all that
pretty
stuff.
Much. Pretty
That's
much.
funny. So and we've talked about, so you've had your GT4 so what, 6 months now, whatever that is. Do you feel like it's done? This is exactly what you want? Do you want to do more with it? Like, because you obviously did a lot with your other cars to kind of, edit them, we'll say.
I did. I modified my red eye quite a bit. So I love a naturally aspirated car. The GT4 is a flat 6. It's naturally aspirated. And my original thought was slap a twin turbo on there and turn it into what I want. What's that mod? Not much. Let's do it. And then I don't know that I wanted.
But how are they going to stick that turbo engine in the middle of the body?
Well,
it's going to be interesting.
It's a feat.
Yes.
So, thank you, Chris. Yeah. So now I love her so much the way she is. And I've gotten used to the naturally aspirated, the sound of that car, that I'm looking at a different car. So now I'm looking at, just get a different car. Just get a GT3 RS. Just look at a different car instead of messing with this car that you love as it is. I'm not saying I'm not going to mess with it. What I would do probably is adjust camber in the back if I'm going to race her more, in order to not go through tires as much as I suspect I will once Martina is done with me.
Once she gets a hold of you, yeah.
Once she gets a hold of me. And also exhaust. Although the GT4 sounds amazing, there's something to be said, and I'm comparing it to the way my Scat Pack sounded. it sounded like a beast. And it was, granted, it was a V8 and it was 485 horsepower. So I'm considering an exhaust modification. Alternatively, if I decided to keep the GT4, there are ways to change the engine. Basically, they take the engine out of the car and they bore larger cylinders in order to, oh, Jonathan's on. Hi, Jonathan. That is going to make the car have, I don't know, 150, 200 horsepower more and remain naturally aspirated.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I've got all these ideas. I'm full of them. It's a matter of planning. Thank you, Ducati 211. I agree.
Oh, that's
Scat Packs rock.
Hi, how are you,
my
Brian?
first love. The original Growler was a Scat Pack. And if you go through my IG, you'll find her there. She was a beast. So I don't know. I'm open and I love cars. I have to decide what I want and I could launch right into it. Hi, Kevin. Yeah, there's a lot of my Dodge people on. I love it. Yes. So I don't know for sure what I'm going to do. I know I love her as she is, and I may enjoy her for a while before I decide or launch into another car.
Well, right now is not necessarily, as we talked about, the time to buy cars because they're very, you might want to wait till they're coming down a little.
It's crazy. What I did is I started looking for a truck to tow
great. Yes.
the race car.
The trail around.
And the used trucks were almost as much as the brand new ones. Hi, Emma.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you got to tell your truck story.
Sorry?
You got to tell your truck story.
The truck story is that I started looking for a used truck, and I realized they were $5,000 or $10,000 off of the new ones. So then I shifted. But this is what happens with cars. The budget starts here and it ends up there. So I shifted and I started looking for new trucks.
And by the way, this truck is to haul her race cars around with her. That's why she needs a truck. Because she doesn't want to change wheels on the fly.
So to back up a step, I usually drive the race car, which is the red eye, to the track. I change all 4 tires myself. I learned how to do it. I was taught how to do it by 2 friends, Sean and Mark Malobey. I feel like I have to mention these guys because these are men who helped me get into this world and who didn't say, you can't do it. Mm-hmm. You don't know how. And then after them, I met, yes, Jonathan, NPR. And then after that, I met all these other guys and girls. There's girls on Team NPR who are like, you can do it, and we'll show you how. You can do this. You don't need somebody else to do it for you. I don't have a crew. And my husband is a fabulous support, fabulous marketing team, everything manager, but he's not a car mechanic. He's a lawyer. So I learned how to change the tires. I got comfortable and I got to do it faster. You know, it took me an hour and 15 minutes to change. Yes, shout out to V. So Team NPR has a number of ladies who race and who do their own cars. And one of them is V Dolofan. Another one is Lori, and another one is Kim Bartley. So we have these ladies who rock and who race. And they're encouraged, and it's a good thing. I love seeing it, is what I'm saying. So it got very tiring to change, because you get there at 7 or 8 a.m., you change the tires, and before the race starts, you're tired.
You're exhausted, yeah.
You're tired. Oh my God, Hellcat Granny is on. Yay!
Oh my God, there's a Hellcat Granny. There's
a Hellcat Granny who is modifying her red eye or her demon. I'm not sure, but she's on.
Oh my.
So and then at the end of the day, 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, I would have to change the tires back to go home.
To drive home, yeah.
Because I can't drive with the slicks on the street. It's just not safe.
Right.
So it became old, and that's why I started looking for a truck. Used was not, too many compromises with price and specs. So I started to look for new ones. I found a new truck. I decided this is it. It's 90% of what I want. It was on a different lot than the guy who was looking for me. And before he could acquire it, it sold. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm willing to compromise. I'm willing to compromise. And the car sold out from under me, the truck. So I
Wasn't meant to be. Who knows what would have happened to it?
It wasn't meant to be. And it wasn't a color I loved. But when you buy off a lot, often you compromise. And instead I called the guy who sold me the red eye. And I told him, let's build a truck. And here's what I want. And he helped me build a perfect truck. Hi, Joe. Joe joined. More cars and coffee.
I know. I sent him a wave. I saw.
Oh, you can wave. I can't. But
I have access over here. I'm fancy.
I'm so sorry. Forgive me. So, yeah, I feel like I am pregnant, expecting my third child.
Well, and now you have to move to a bigger house, and I'm putting this in air quotes because she has talked about how she is going to need space in order to store the truck with the trailer with the Hellcat on it.
The truck, the trailer, the race car, and then the Porsche, and eventually another Porsche. I mean, these are real limitations.
Well, they are. When you live in LA with real estate, I mean, I got blessed with the property that I don't have to worry about that. But most people don't have that blessing, where they can just park anything. And when you leave it on this, if you're potentially leaving it on the street, that's great for a short period of time. But then eventually, you could be blocking somebody's parking spot. They could get jealous. They could get broken into. So
all of the above. So I started looking for car storage, and I drove around. There's car storage not far from me. Some are open. And then I found, I think it's called West Side Car something in Culver City. I gave them a ring. They haven't called me back.
Oh, the ones with at the Matt Ferris place? Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, if
West
I
Side
can put two cars on a lift, I'll figure out the trailer and I'll daily the truck. I mean, I'm just
compromise.
It's all a compromise unless I go out to the burbs and buy a bigger piece of land and then just build my own barn. My car barn.
Yes, with your car stables.
With my car stables.
Yes.
And I want to lift. I'm learning
your
more
fleet
and more
of horses.
about cars.
Yeah.
To
work on it. Yes. Yeah,
I want to see. I want to learn. I want to be able to, whenever I'm at Lonnie's and he's working on my car, I'm like, show me what you're doing. Show me what's happening. So I'll be under the car with him with my video and my photos, because if you're going to drive a car, shouldn't you understand how it works? Shouldn't you understand if you hear or see something?
Especially when you're pushing it to the maximum capabilities. So understanding where the breakage points are and what the potential causes, what to look for. Let's say you're on the track and your team is not there to support you and you need to crawl underneath it, that's, I understand. Okay, this was already something that was wearing and now I realize I've gone past, whatever the situation may be. But yeah, you should have knowledge about what's going on.
Totally. As for example, you're absolutely right. And I've gotten to learn the suspension on my car. When we changed the suspension, I looked at stuff and I thought, well, this doesn't look right. And John Gilderda at Team MPR is fabulous about showing me what he's done, what he's this, what he's that. And I'm like, oh, that looks really good. When we put my suspension in, we put new control arms. And he said, yeah, she really likes them, I can tell. And I love that he goes with the personality of the car, what makes the car happy. Because when I ride, I listen to what she does at certain speeds, because that's how you know if a car is happy or not.
That's true.
And when to, God forbid, at 100-something miles an hour, if you hear something, you want to let off at full throttle before something goes boom.
Yeah, before you are going to be encountering more damage than you would have already. Yes. A small break is one thing, and then having that brake spin into other things and really get loose and wild, we'll say.
Good way to put it.
Yeah.
Because I know I'll be fine. It's a cage. I've got a fire suit.
Well, the track is open. The track, as long as you don't hit the other guy you're dragging next to.
Right. As long as you don't hit the other guy,
go the other way.
But the further down the line the damage occurs, the more expensive to fix the car. And I love my baby.
Yeah. Okay, so being that your Hellcat is on its way doing wonders for you, and now you've got this GT4 that you want to learn more from. And I know you've signed up for Martina's class at DK Racing School. So what is it that you're looking to get out of pushing that car to the potential limits? And not that you would the first time that you're racing, because that's not really what a class is designed for. You're actually supposed to learn slow so that you can take those slow skills and then expand upon them. You don't, a lot of people I think going to the track or learning or getting instructed is like, I'm going to go really fast. No, that's not the point. People actually get really slow cars in order to really learn how to, to handle things.
Absolutely, which is why I started drag racing in the Scat Pack with the Soretti. But then when I decided I wanted to take turns fast and got the GT4, first of all, I hadn't driven a stick shift in, I don't know, 30 years.
Wow.
So, and I knew I missed it.
Was it like riding a bike?
Just like riding a bike. Just like riding a bike. And Andrew, my husband, said, because, the GT4 was supposed to be my daily, but every year I buy a new daily and then it becomes something else. This is what the GT4 was supposed to be my daily. So my husband says, you don't want a stick shift. You don't want a manual in LA with traffic. And
in a sense, I agree, but yeah, depending on what you're going to do.
In a sense, I agree, but in a sense, you don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Well, because, we haven't even gotten to what your day job is, which is real estate, which means you're going to be schlepping all around LA on a regular basis.
So I am schlepping all around LA, but I love driving the GT4. I love dailying the GT4. I picked up a client the other day. We went downtown to look at income property. It was fabulous being on the 110 and the 10 freeway and having fun. And she loved the car. It was fabulous. But I will, when we're in traffic, have to deal with the clutch one, clutch. It's okay.
Yeah.
Your left foot gets tired, but then again, half the time your left foot has a lot of fun. So it's a compromise.
Well, you've only had it through COVID, really. So
and that's it. And that's the other thing. I've only had it in COVID traffic.
Right.
And took it on the Fontana Roval once. Only once did I have an opportunity. Loved it. Loved it. What I'm looking for Martina to help me do is push my car, get comfortable with my car, and still respect the car. Right? Because I'm not looking for a rollover. I'm not looking to go over the edge.
No.
And I'm not looking to be a daredevil. That's a whole other thing. We'll talk about drifting later, because drifting I would love to learn in a different car, not in the GT4. So the GT4, I'm looking to learn how to push her limits without going over the edge. That's the idea.
Yeah. And
see how fast she'll go. She's done amazing in the canyons. She's done amazing on the track. And I'm getting more comfortable with the shifting quick. I was looking at a video I posted the other day of my first track day, my only track day so far in the GT4. And just by looking at the GoPro, I could tell I was shifting too soon. I could tell my hands were in the wrong place on the steering wheel.
Oh, wow.
So those are the things that I'm looking for: better learning, better grasping of that knowledge on that car.
That's really smart, I have to say. I have not heard of people reviewing their own interior footage. So, and one thing I want to go back. So my friend Lake, the Speedster 37, whatever, CIUU. So he said PCA club racing discounts. And I'm going to repeat something that Martina had said not long ago, which I thought was genius. So there are a lot of track days with PCA, with other clubs. There's, every weekend there's track days with some sort of,
almost.
Yeah, person or a group that has rented out the track that you can buy access to. She had a really good point. She says, if you go on a track day by yourself and you don't have an instructor, you're basically learning your mistakes over and over and over again and never correcting them, because it's, again, you need that outside opinion to hone in on where your inflections need to be. So, even though you have gotten it somewhat from watching your GoPro.
It was GoPro.
Yeah, but it's almost, because that's almost like it's almost like probably watching somebody else in a sense. but then having somebody watching you while you're doing it. So when you're watching your GoPro, that's now you've left the track and you're done and you can't correct it right there unless you're like literally coming down, downloading it. It's not immediate. So if you have somebody on a walkie-talkie that is streaming you through it, you know, next turn, do this, next turn, do this. You're coming up here, slow down, you know, whatever the corrections need to be. And then you can go out and do the track stuff because now you've learned the corrected ways to really take, you know, whatever those corrections are to a better level and repeat the corrections over and over instead of the mistakes over and over. So
that's exactly right. And it's hundreds, if not thousands of dollars.
And wasting time.
Wasted. and tires. Martina's right.
Yeah.
Wasted because nobody was there to tell me at the time what to do to correct it. And I just took another lap and I wasted it. And another lap and I wasted it where I could have corrected.
Right.
So
well, and you're making those that you're almost how do you say, like drilling in the mistakes correctly. Like I'm saying it the wrong way, but you know what I mean? It's like
totally.
Your learned mistakes become so familiar that you're going to fall back on them.
So I am very much looking forward to the professional instruction at DK Racing. And I love that.
Oh, there you go. She says one of the students said that the school's worth 20 track days.
Exactly.
That's
so
good, yeah.
We were looking, absolutely, Martina. Andrew and I were looking at other track days. And there's a bunch before racing school on June 4th. And we decided, wait, why? Right. Let's do racing school first with Martina, then venture a track day because it felt wasted.
Right.
And we've both done it.
Well, she's still going to have to undo all the mistakes that you're making.
Yeah. Speedster 37 agrees. Yeah. It's like, I love the speed and I love going around the track in the GT4, but to put it bluntly, I didn't know what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, they're such different animals. I mean, to only have that car 6 months and to be, you're training yourself how to go fast really car and spin those wheels and get all, and, you know, edged up. You do the exact opposite in Porsche. You know?
Exact opposite.
Yeah. I mean, in the American car, you're letting off the gas in order to slow yourself down. In a Porsche, in order to take a turn, you have to keep your foot on the pedal. And it's such a weird mind screw up, because I'm not going to say the other word, but, you know, like your instinct is to want to let go of the gas. And that's when people lose it, is when they let go of the gas. And it's such a hard thing to get over. And I still even find myself doing it, but sometimes I feel almost caffeinated in the car. It's funny I haven't been taking turns too crazy lately, but sometimes there's certain clubs I've driven with that they take it hard. You know what I'm talking about. There's some of those groups. Yeah. And my foot will literally almost like, I get like shaky because I'm trying like so hard. I want to be in control, but then I have to like breathe again and kind of center myself and get, I'll say, situated. You know what I mean? So that, okay, because you react so much better when you're not high on, you know, alert, when you're just you're flowing with it, and the steer, you're not in control of the steering wheel, and you're taking the steering wheel in control, and you're letting the car somewhat move, but then you recorrecting, you know, where the car wants to go
gently. No sudden moves, a phrase I tell myself in drag racing. I'm carrying over to track racing. No sudden moves. It's all got to be smooth. It's all got to feel good. And it's a balance, because you can't be too relaxed, but you don't want to be on edge either. You want to be comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, I always look at, let's say you go to PCLA or any experienced race car driver. I love to drive in the track with an experienced professional, because their flow is just, it's like they could be like drinking a cup of coffee and you know, brushing their teeth and driving the car at like 150 miles an hour. And it's just like nothing to them. And there's such a beauty to that, you know. It's just, I don't know. It's such a great thing. So
it is. Oh, love you, Emma. She's headed out.
So we only have a few more minutes left. And I just figured we would get into like, what is the rest of Tatiana's life? So we briefly talked about how you have a real estate career, which then obviously affords you to have these toys of yours.
Yes.
Do you want to chat a little bit about, you know, kind of what you do professionally?
Yes. So what I do professionally is that I'm a real estate broker and lawyer. I'm not a practicing attorney, though I am licensed in the state of California. I am a broker, and I fell into real estate because that's what my mom and her brother did when we moved here. Oh, Robert is here. Hi, Robert. And I fell into real estate because I was a receptionist in college, putting my way through school. And I was always going to be, go to medical school. That's what I thought I was going to do. And then I got used to working and getting comfortable, making money, and I couldn't see myself going back to being the medical student. Got my real estate license, started in real estate, and loved it. I loved it. I love the contract negotiation. I love the brokerage community. I love helping people buy and sell homes who are in different phases of their lives. There's always something happening. It could be good, it could be bad, it could be a death or a divorce, it could be a birth, it could be something for the children, parents setting up their children and buying property for kids. It's all great. And it felt to me like an opportunity to be a part of people's lives. I did it on my own for a while. And then I decided, considering my best skill is different than probably many real estate agents, I'm more of a contract person. I'm more of a negotiation person. I joined a team about 20 plus years ago in Pacific Palisades. So I'm on the Edlin team. I manage the team. We have a great group of other realtors. And we do well, and we love what we do. And if anybody needs a referral anywhere in town, let me know. But you know, that's like this is the passion that fuels my passion. How's that?
I love it. I love it. Well, I definitely thoroughly enjoy getting to know a little more and sharing. I mean, some of the stuff I already knew that I wanted, everyone else to get to know you. But yeah, it's exciting. I'm excited to continue watching your journey and your growth and where you go with it and what you do and what's coming up next for you. So you'll have to get back to us and let us know the dates of your TV debut, because that'll be a lot of fun to it's always fun to see somebody that on a show.
It'll be fun.
Great thing. Yeah.
It'll be fun. There was a lot of cussing. Can we just chalk it up to speed racing? Can we chalk it up to 4 a.m. tired at 30 degrees and cold? Can we just chalk it up to that?
Ouch. Yeah, that doesn't sound like
it was hard. But thank you. And part of what's been a great added passion in my life is you and the groups you've created and enabled me to join in order to meet all these people passionate about the same things that I love.
Yeah, I don't know if there's too many drag racers, and you might be the one off of that, but definitely a lot of Porsche.
All good. All good.
Yeah. No, it's been the group is just, it's really, I would say the reason I started it and the reason I keep going is because it fills a void that I have, which is connecting with amazing women. And there's great people that will tell you that you are made up of, let's say, the 5 people that you're closest to, right around you. And so I always want to be around people that maybe have achieved more or less than me. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter where we all are in life necessarily, but people that are motivating and people that are positive. And we've all met people that, don't really carry those characteristics, and they may come into our life for a moment. We think, oh, this is a great person. And then we realize, that's not who we want to spend our time with, because every one of us has only a limited amount of quality time that we share past our family and our work life. So
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm really blessed to meet you and hang with you and all the other people that have been on this live. Like, it's just, I don't know. I'm like loving all these people. So final blast. She's the group makes her young.
I know.
She's so adorable.
But I agree. Part of it was getting to my mid 40s and deciding I need to do this now. I'm not getting any younger.
Yeah.
And our passion for these cars, and Estrada USC said the same thing. Our passion for these cars has energized us because we love them and we're connecting with people who love what we love.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's not a connection, I don't know what life is about.
Yeah. So again, just to repeat, this is Porsche Women Global. You've tuned in. Or your followers that you don't know. If you are a Porsche person and you want to connect with other women, go ahead and send us a message. We'll get you connected on the global group. And then we have tons of groups that are in different areas besides specialties. We've got, I've got co-ed groups as well as just female groups. And if you're in Southern California, come hang with us. We have a lot of fun. We've got a wine trip coming up. We have, we just did an 80s party, which was so much fun. We have, cool. I want to put this masquerade ball on together.
Let's do it. I'm telling you.
I know. I just have to hone in on the location. If anybody has a location, you know, my hope is to do, I think I told you, my hope is to like find a piece of real estate somebody is selling that wouldn't mind loaning us a deck for a night. So,
I don't have one, but we can keep looking.
I know we're gonna have to. Bill Baker was on. I'm like I'm gonna have to hit Bill Baker up.
Bill Baker or Sassy.
Yeah. Oh, I know an OC, right? We could do an OC
call
trip.
Our people. Yeah, we've got some people to call.
Yes. Anyway, so it was great that they're gonna kick us out in a couple minutes. So I always like to log out like a couple minutes early for the countdown. But thank you all for joining in. We appreciate all the love and support and what you guys all bring to the table. I want to continue doing some of these talks. There was one earlier on Facebook Live that I'll share the link with Loxy. We did Martina last week, and we've had a lot of other live feeds. You just have to look in our channel. But if there's any other women that you can think of for this channel that you would like to hear from, I would love to know. I was making a list at 3 in the morning this morning because that's what I do.
You do? I don't know. You were texting me so late last night. I'm like, oh,
sorry.
I don't know how she does this.
Sorry. I'm ADD, and if I don't get it out of my head, it's gone, and I'll forget.
All good.
You know,
it's all good.
So, you know, it's funny. I'll start text drafts in the middle of the night, and then I'll never send them. And someone sends me a message a week later, and I'm like, oh, I never told you X, Y, Z. Yeah, my crazy brain. Anyway,
too funny.
So thank you all. Thank you, Tatiana, for sharing yourself and for being very real as you always are.
My pleasure. So, thank you, Sarah.
As I always say, I want you all to get out and drive.
We do.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.